Oh, hello there, and welcome back to the True Crusade Stories podcast with your girl, Coach Mo, your favorite family finance coach, coming to you live and direct from my studio. Listen, I hope that you all have had an amazing day thus far. It is February the 14th, 2025. And listen, it is Valentine's Day on a Friday, no less. So I just want to wish everyone who celebrates, which I understand it's not an official holiday, but it is the day that we always focus on love. Amen. And so today we're going to show some love and continue to show love because it's not only Valentine's Day, but it is Black History Month, okay? And we don't have a whole lot of time left in the month. So I want to show some love to some powerhouse African American people who were financial leaders. And so, listen, we need the positivity today. We need the positivity because there's so much negativity in the world that it is so draining to my spirit and to my soul. Are you feeling the same way? Okay. So we got to focus on some positive things. And that's what I want to talk about today. So I hope that you all are staying safe out there. I don't know what the weather is like where you are, but where we are, it's been a lot of snow. And so we'll see what's going to happen in these next couple of days. But I'm going to, as I often do here, right? I'm going to be reading from an article. And I just want you guys to know if you are here for the first time visiting us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited that you decided to click on the podcast for today. And listen, go back and listen to the other podcasts when you have your free time because it's most definitely insightful. And I am having such a great time just sharing not just my insights, not just my opinions, because this is a podcast, but I want to give facts and figures. And so I want to first go into what is the True Crusade stories all about. So our goal with on True Crusade Stories is honestly to share history, examples, and testimonies of people whose financial lives have been impacted due to the work of a crusader, okay? Because it always starts with one person or two people that want to see change take place. And someone has to be brave enough, someone has to be that trailblazer to say, yes, I am the one, send me, okay? So we believe that you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. All right. And so when you hear the words TRU, that stands for true resilience unit. All right. And we know what a unit is. We know what resilience is. And we know what truth is. But I love the resilience part because true resilience is honestly having the ability to bounce back. Now, because it is Black History Month, we already know about all the challenges that the African American community has faced, right? If you haven't been born under a rock, okay, you already know that there have been challenges. And I don't take any challenges that any other race of people have experienced away, but I can talk about my challenges personally because I am a woman of color. And so I want to read this article to you to kind of point out just a few Black finance leaders in history. And listen, this is coming from the BECU, okay? BECU. And so let's go over just a couple together. And so first we have the awesome, the wonderful, the amazing Maggie Lena Walker. Okay, I'm going to read. So Maggie Lena Walker was the first Black woman to establish and serve as president of a bank in the United States. Walker found that white owned banks didn't typically take deposits from Black organizations, so in 1903, she started her own bank, St. Luke Penny Savings Bank in Richmond, Virginia, with money gathered from members of the Independent Order of St. Luke, an African American benevolent society. It was renamed Consolidated Bank and Trust after merging with two smaller Black owned banks in 1930. Isn't that wonderful? Walker also chaired the board of directors. The bank was still in operation and was the oldest continuously operated African American owned bank in the US until 2005, when a series of ownership changes led to People's Bank Corp acquiring the bank in 2021. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Maggie Lena Walker. And we let us continue. Okay, let us continue. Here is another one. His name is O.W. Gurley, who moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1906, where he purchased 40 acres of land on what would become Greenwood, a community known as Black Wall Street. Gurley ran many businesses of his town of his own and supported other entrepreneurs in their business ventures. Greenwood became a thriving center that included law offices, medical practices, luxury shops, restaurants, movie theaters, barber shops, and salons. It had its own school system, post office, bank, and bus service. Michelle Place, executive director of the Tulsa Historical Society and Museum, told History.com, it is said within Greenwood, every dollar would change hands 19 times before it left the community. The town was devastated in 1921 during the 18-hour Tulsa Race Massacre, also known as the Tulsa Race Riot, when a white mob committed what is still one of the worst acts of racial violence in U.S. history. Now, I didn't come on this show today to talk about violence or anything like that, but I am simply reading this article, okay? Now let's take it to another woman who was what? A whole boss. Okay. And so her name is Ernestina. Well, nope. Ernesta. I'll say Ernestina. I apologize. Her name is Ernesta Cop. Okay. And so in 1953, Ernesta founded the E.G. Bowman Insurance Company in Brooklyn, New York in 1979, a year after I was born. Okay. Listen. In 1979, she moved the business, making it the first Black owned business on Wall Street. It grew to become the largest minority owned insurance company in the US. I love it. Okay. And so let's keep going. Here is another one. We'll go to a guy this time. Earl G. Graves Sr. In 1970, Earl G. Graves Sr. started Black Enterprise, a publication that is broadly recognized as the authority on African American business, finance, and entrepreneurs. And an April 10th, 2020 story about Graves' death, New York Times reported Daniel E. Stolnick wrote, the idea of targeting Black businesses community was novel, but Mr. Graves pitched it with confidence befitting the multimillionaire publisher and businessman he would become. And let's finish it up with the lady, okay? All right. And so we got Leela St. John. Leela St. John was the first Black woman to pass the New York Stock Exchange exam in 1953. Oh my goodness. She was 25, a mother of two children, and crammed for only 2 months. She became the first certified female investment counselor in the US, starting her finance career at Oppenheimer and Company. Prior to her interest in investing, St. John, a soprano singer, hosted her own music television show in Milwaukee. So, those are just four examples of Black excellence. And I'm always excited to learn about our history, and to get some insight on our future, right? And so grateful for that. And so today I want to share with you all just a couple of nuggets today concerning finance, right? Because we know that we're here talking about crusade stories. And so just this week, I had the opportunity to be in a meeting and a training with some of my teammates. And I'm going to tell you what. So we were talking about, someone was sharing their story about how they were being taken advantage of when it comes to their money, right? And so this person had a life insurance policy and she was paying about $300 a month. Okay. $300, maybe even a little bit more than that, $300 a month for her life insurance policy. And for most people, they think that, life insurance is supposed to be expensive, one, but then they also believe that it's pretty much for burial. And so, even though people may have a desire, if they don't know any better, right, or they just don't know what their options are, she had a desire to get more coverage, but she couldn't afford it. So, she just got what she could afford, $300 a month. And this is the woman with children. What she found out after she got a second opinion was that she was overpaying for her life insurance. How was she overpaying? Well, she was paying $300 a month, and only $47 of the 300 was going towards her life insurance. So that's the first injustice, right? Here is the second thing. So if we take 400 $300 and we subtract 47, that's going to leave us with over $200 still. Would you agree? All right. And so over $200 that she thought, with what she purchased, she thought that she was going to have life insurance and savings, but that wasn't the case. And so here it is, 2 years into the policy, there was no money in the savings portion, quote unquote, of the policy. And so imagine her surprise when she contacted the life insurance company to confirm what she actually had. Okay. And so, where did the money go, you may ask? Well, the money went towards fees and commissions and other fees and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, at the point that she had began to obtain any cash value in the policy, she had about, I want to say, about $1,600 in cash value, which, if you broke down $200 plus a month times 12, that's $2,400 all day within a year. Okay. If we did that for 2 years, that's $4,800. So you would think at the bare minimum, she would have $4,800 in savings if the cost of the insurance was only 47 of the 300. No, all that money again went towards commissions and fees and all these other things. And so she was furious, but she had to maintain herself because she wanted the insurance company to give her the facts, to give her the truth. Now, this woman was a woman of color, all right? And this is not to say, well, people, people of color or Black people, African American people, only are being presented with life insurance policies or savings plans that don't mean them any good. So it's not to say that, but it's to say that knowledge is power, right? And so she didn't know until she got a second opinion from someone who it's their job to be a crusader. It's their job to look for the injustices that are taking place in our society and make it right. Okay. And so ultimately, what ended up happening was not only did she replace that life insurance policy, now her family, the trajectory of her family, it has a much, much brighter, or how can I say, a more positive or impactful view. Why? Because, first of all, she did so much more than just save, however much money she saved on her life insurance policy. But now, having saved that money and not just giving it away to the life insurance company, who, by the way, if she passed away with the option of life insurance she chose, they were going to keep the money if she never borrowed it. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I trust that we've heard of policies like that, if you borrow the money, the policy is surrendered, which means that it no longer exists. It's done. Or you've heard of life insurance policies where if you don't pay the money back, because that is a loan that they have to approve when you take it out of your cash value bucket. If you don't pay it back in a certain amount of time, guess what? There's no life insurance, right? And so the company is always going to get their money back, and they don't necessarily have an incentive to save your money because it's not a bank, right? It's a life insurance company. And so here it is. She's not only saved over $200 a month in her life insurance and got more coverage than what she had, but she also had the opportunity to invest her money. So, isn't it interesting that if all of your money is tied up into all types of things. So we have monthly bills, right? We got budgets, we have groceries, we got eggs that are $1,001. We have all these things that we're spending money on every single day. And some of those things have a constant price for a season, or some of those things have variable costs. So we have variable costs, we have fixed costs, but we also have debt items that we may be trying to pay off as well, right? But then we still want our family to have a quality of life, and we want to have a quality of life so that we can enjoy life. And if all your money is tied up in all of those things, how can you squeeze out another penny, another nickel, another dime to save for your future? So that's why it's so important to make sure that you are maximizing whatever money is coming in and whatever money is going out. And let me tell you this, if you're not maximizing it to the level that you want to do that at, you need to get with someone who can help you to see a little bit differently than what you're seeing right now. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm an author, right? I wrote a book. I'm writing more books. But the first book that I wrote, when I was going through the proofreading stage, and the publisher would send me the proof back and I would have to approve it, every now and then I can see the mistakes or the errors, but I couldn't always see the mistakes or the errors. And so if something came to me and there was a mistake and I approved it, guess what? They're going to print it because they were waiting for me to approve it, right? And so you don't always see unless you get a second opinion. And so that is why I'm so excited about Crusaders, because Crusaders have a hunger and thirst to do what is going to make an impact or make things better or improved. Okay. And so I was so grateful that we were able to help this woman get out of this policy that was not going to be beneficial for her family after she was gone. She's using her hard earned money to pay $300 a month for her life insurance and not even knowing that she had other options out there. Okay. And so that's why it's important for us to stay open to other ways of seeing things, because unfortunately, when the book is in our hand, we can no longer see the errors. We've looked at it for so long. We've had it for so long. We've been doing it this way for so long, and our parents did it that way, and our grandparents did it that way, and so many people did it that way before us. And listen, we don't know any other way. So to hear something different or to see something different becomes foreign to us because that's just not what we're used to. But how many people know that we have to keep our options open because there are always crusaders that are coming alongside us that want to show us a more excellent way. Here is another example that I want to share from this week. Okay, and so in that same gathering, we were talking about, and I won't name any names on here. Not that I care, but I won't name any names on here with this example specifically, and I think you'll know what I mean when I start talking about it. And so here we have a gentleman that is in a meeting, and he's talking about how he sold a life insurance policy to someone who, I don't know what their budget was, but apparently they had money to spend because they spent over $5,000 a month. I believe it was 5,000 a month. Yes, 5,000 a month on a life insurance policy where they thought it was life insurance and investments and all of those things. But listen, I believe I have said this in previous podcasts, but this is what I need you to know. If someone is going to sell you life insurance that is also savings and investments, they need to have two licenses: life insurance license and an investment license. If they don't have both, they're lying. Period, point blank. No other way I can say it. They're lying. They cannot sell you an investment without having an investment license. An investment license would be something like this: a Series 6, a Series 7, a Series 63, a Series 26, a Series 65, a Series 66. So those are the investment licenses. Now, trust that there are more, but you need to know that if they don't have an investment license, an investment you don't have. And so I know that there's so much media and coverage and social media and all the things that are out there that are literally robbing our communities blind because we just don't know the difference. And it really hurts and it really stings when it is a person of color who's going after a person of color. And why am I going there? It really stings. We have a person of color going after a person of color and literally robbing them in their face. And who trained them to do that? And so I'm not saying that, this is a black or white thing, but what I am simply saying is that, listen, people are being robbed. Black, white, Latino, Asian, Indian, they're being robbed. They're being robbed of their opportunity to choose the right stuff because the education that's going forth is education that is one sided and not necessarily pulling out all the stops on the data. How is this going to be beneficial for my family? What is going to happen if I do this? We have to know the questions to ask so that we cannot be what? Taken advantage of. Because when you don't know the difference, you will be taken advantage of every single time. And gone are the days where we sit by idly and let people just come into our homes and rob us blind. We don't do that, do we? We don't allow people to just come into our homes, go into our refrigerator, especially with the price of eggs, okay? Take all of our stuff out and walk right out the door. We don't do those things. Who does that? And so what do? We get the cops involved. We try to detain them. We do something, right? But we are not going to just allow that to happen. And so why would we allow that to happen with our finances? Are you open to another way of viewing your finances? Do you believe that you are supposed to be wealthy? Do you believe that there is hope for your finances, regardless of what you see right now? Because where you are right now can be so different in 6 months if you make the decision to get some professional advice, to talk to a fellow crusader whose job it is to do right by you, to ensure that you're not taken advantage of, to ensure that your family is going to be properly protected, to ensure that you understand how your financial products works. And that's all I'm saying. Okay? That's all I'm saying. We need to give ourselves a fighting chance. And this is the last thing I want to say, because this is really today, it's about a few things that I discovered this week that bothered me in my spirit. And I know that we have to pay attention to the signs of the times. If we're not careful, right, we'll be outside, broke, poor, devastated, okay? Looking for jobs, can't find jobs. Can't, the money is not worth what it used to be, which we already know it's not, okay? Not having any hope when it comes to what my financial outlook is going to look like next week, living paycheck to paycheck. Like, those are the things that I'm saying could happen, but I do understand that those things are happening right now to some people. So we have an incredible opportunity to change our direction. We can do a 180, not a 360, because a 360 would be turning around and being right back in the same spot. I learned that a few years ago. But a 180 means I'm going to turn my direction and go a whole different way. Okay? I don't want that life anymore. I want better. And if you want better for your family, why don't you contact me? Listen, we're not just on here, and I'm not just on here talking about what I don't know, because I'm talking facts and I'm talking about things that actually happen and are happening in our society. So, this last thing, and then I'll give you my contact information and we're going to wrap up. So, I hope you enjoyed this for today. And hopefully, you made it to the end of this, our time together, because I truly believe that God is doing some amazing things. And if you have the ear to hear and you have an open spirit, that God can truly bless you through this podcast. And so, this is what I want to tell you. So this week I made a post about this, and this was just something random. I was scrolling on my Facebook page like I do sometimes for business, and I came across a Beyonce ad. And in the ad, I just clicked on it because I was curious. I knew I had heard about the prices for her concerts and people, making all the sacrifices to buy these tickets previously. And hey, this is not a diss to anybody who likes to or enjoys Beyonce, but I'm going to speak my truth on my podcast. Okay. And so, anyway, she has tickets for over $3,000 in some sections. Now, this is all I'm saying. Why would I ever pay anyone to entertain me who's already a millionaire, who's already a billionaire with a B, to sing to me? I need someone to make it make sense. Now, of course, as I mentioned in my post, if you have the money and you want to splurge and that's your thing, do what you do. But if you are saying, I want to leave an inheritance for my family, and I haven't even started on that, but I'm sitting in Beyonce's face, that's a problem. Wouldn't you agree? And see, I am the type of coach that I'm going to be direct with you, but I'm also going to be compassionate, right? It's all about that accountability, but at the same time, working towards what you actually say that you desire. And that's what it's all about. And so I just find it hard to believe that people would pay money, put it on a credit card, do whatever it takes, okay, and get to the concert. And not only did you go to the concert, right, or prepare for it, you had to get an outfit. You had to get your hair done, your nails done. You had to rent a car or drive in or whatever you had to do. You had to stay overnight because it was a late concert. It all adds up. So it was more than a $3,000 ticket. And listen, some of the tickets are not that much. Some tickets are only 600. Some tickets are less than 100. I trust those are in the nosebleed sections, right? But either way, we have to be careful not to allow people to entertain us when they are already financially independent. And trust me, I've had my fair share of going to shows, going to the movies, right? Watching some TV. I've done it. I've done all of that. Watched some Broadway plays, but never have I ever spent $3,000 to watch a woman sing to me for 60 minutes or however long it was. I don't think so. Okay. And I don't know that I would ever in my life want to spend that type of money to watch someone entertain me. That's just that. Now, this is where my opinion comes in, right? To each his own. And so that's really all I have for you today, guys. I hope and I pray that this podcast today was inspiring. I pray that it inspires you to not only get with a crusader who can take a look at your finances and see where you are, and maybe you being open to a second opinion so that you can go to that next level, the level that you always desired to get to but didn't have the help that you needed. All right. And so pray that you have an amazing remainder of your day. Remember, we'll be back next Friday with another crusade story. And so I would like for you to contact me if you want to get help or assistance with any of the things that we talked about. As I mentioned, I am a finance coach and I have multiple licenses, whereas we can sit down and just have a free consultation. And so if you'd like to contact me, send me an email at coachmo@trueresilience.net to schedule a Zoom meeting with me to discuss your story and what we can do to help and serve you. Again, that's Coach Mo, CoachMo at truresilience.net. Be safe and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.